Hey everyone, I'm Stephanie, host and head bookologist here at the Get Literate podcast. I'm a book loving, notebook hoarding reader and writer on a mission to change lives one book and one notebook at a time. On this podcast, we explore the power of bookology. What's that? That's the study of books and reading and notebooks and writing mixed with mindful practices and creativity to create lives we love. Here, you'll find episodes exploring the reading and writing life and how they can make our actual lives better. You'll get book recommendations and notebooking prompts around particular themes, and you'll even hear from authors and special guests who can fuel our reading and writing hearts and help us take inspired action in our own daily practices. So, grab a notebook and your TBR list, and let's get literate. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Get Literate podcast. I'm Stephanie Affinito, and I am thrilled to be back in real time with a new episode for you today. So, if you listened to my episode last week, then you know that I shared an encore episode. It was actually the most downloaded episode of all time on Get Literate, the episode with Dr. Nicole Jans on how to build a writing life. And I shared that encore because I was out on the couch with the flu. Honestly, that was probably the sickest I have been in a very long time, much worse than COVID. And it really, really took me out in an unexpected way. So I appreciate all of the well wishes, whether it was a quick text from some of you that I have gotten close with, emails, comments on social media. Thank you so much for your healthy thoughts. They are working. I still have a bit of a way to go, but I have made significant progress and I'm happy to be back here sharing more reading, more writing, more ideas with you. Now, honestly, this episode that I had planned for last week, that is now planned for today, is actually quite perfect timing. A couple of weeks ago, I shared in my weekly literate love letter on Friday through Substack. You can sign up at alitlife.com if you don't receive that yet. But I shared that in my in-person restorative reading, writing, and yoga sessions, we had someone come in and do a little bit of aromatherapy with us. She had this most beautiful smelling blend that she just rolled on the inside of our palms that we just rubbed our hands together and smelled it whenever we wanted that little boost of relaxation. Now, she said something in that session that was so interesting to me, and it was this. If you are smelling a blend of essential oils, the scent that you smell first is the one that your body needs the most. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is fascinating. So the scent that I smell today may not be the scent that I smell next week using the same blend because things change and my body changes. And that set me down a wonderful rabbit hole of what aromatherapy was and what it can do and how it works. And of course, my brain says, well, how can it support our reading and writing? In that Substack, I asked others who would be interested in learning more. Anybody want an episode on this? And you definitely did. And so that's where I am today. Now, ironically, being sick, I didn't realize how much I relied on aromatherapy to feel better without even realizing it. So let's start in the morning. Taking a shower, I have this eucalyptus spray that I would spray everywhere in the shower to help me breathe. At night, I have a lavender spray that I actually spray under my pillow to help me sleep. Now, in terms of a face care routine, I have an oil-based cleanser that is really important in the winter and when I am sick because everything just gets really dry. And there is so much essential oil in there. There's pomegranate seeds and lavender and geranium and peppermint and even rosemary extract. It's just the most beautiful smell. And I didn't quite realize how it does put me in this wonderful frame of mind every time that I use it. Now, I am still trying to figure out how I might use aromatherapy for the pain I feel from the flu. I know that capsaicin, which are kind of like ground up peppers, that's more of an herbal remedy rather than aromatherapy. But I have learned that things like lavender, rose, wintergreen, peppermint, eucalyptus, chamomile, clary sage, ginger, those are all things that perhaps could go into some sort of lotion or rub for a more natural pain relief when you are sick. Let's say instead of some of those over-the-counter prescription, well, that doesn't make sense. Over-the-counter and prescription are not the same thing, but like those creams that you can put on to soothe your muscles. So that's where I'm heading next with that. But I was shocked at how much I've already integrated aromatherapy into my daily practices just because I was so sparked by that one little fact in terms of which scent your body smells first. So, of course, I started to think, how could we use this to really elevate our reading and writing experiences? And that's what this episode is about today. 3 ways that you can use aromatherapy to elevate the sensory experience that you have while reading and writing, which just makes you feel better, makes it so-called work better, and could just enhance your enjoyment of it. So first, let's just talk a bit about aromatherapy. Aromatherapy, at its very basic core, is the use of essential oils from plants to help us heal. Now, essential oils are the essence of a plant. It's the concentrated, really, really fragrant, highly potent compounds from a plant that you could then use in your healing in whatever way that you want to heal for you. Now, there's a whole lot of science behind it, right? We know that smells are handled by the olfactory bulb in our brain. It's this structure in the front of the brain that sends information to the other areas of the body for further processing. When we smell something, it literally takes a direct route to our limbic system, which, has the amygdala and the hippocampus, those regions that are related to emotions and memory. And so when these essential oils are inhaled, they actually stimulate your nervous system, and it starts a chain reaction of signals in your brain. And that chain reaction of signals in your brain starts a whole lot of chemical responses throughout your body. And so those messages can actually tell your brain, these essential oil messages can actually tell your brain through the limbic system to release hormones like serotonin and dopamine and endorphins, all of those good hormones, those good chemicals that we actually want coursing through our body. We know that the thoughts we think can trigger feelings, which trigger chemicals, which trigger actions, but the smells that we smell can do the same thing. And I bet you can think about this in action, right? If you smelled a freshly baked chocolate cake, maybe that brings you back to when you used to bake with your grandmother when you were young. Or maybe you smell this beautiful scent of pine, and that sends you right back into Christmas. Maybe you smell that charcoal smell of the outdoor grill, and that reminds you of wonderful summer vacations, right? Scents have the power to store memories in a way that memories alone cannot. And so if we unlock the power of scent, we can really help ourselves to feel better, to boost our memory, to do whatever we want to do, quite frankly, based on the kind of scent that we are smelling. So this idea of aromatherapy is just so fascinating to me. I mean, why wouldn't we explore how smelling certain things can make us feel better? It seems like a pretty low-hanging fruit to grab when trying to think about how we can feel good in our lives. So that's aromatherapy. It's a little breakdown of essential oils and how they work in our brain. And there's a lot of research on this. I'm not mentioning it here in the episode, but there are specific scientific studies that can link scent to improve memory, improve focus, improve creativity, and yes, even improved relaxation, although those two words together sound quite strange, right? If we want to focus, we can smell peppermint. If we want to relax, then we get out the lavender. There's a lot of science behind it. And today I want to talk about 3 ways that we could use that science to really help our own reading and writing lives. So, first up, one way to use essential oil as a reader, as a writer, is to simply have those essential oils on, I'm kind of putting on in air quotes, in the background of your home in order to silently but consistently influence your mental state, right? So maybe it is a diffuser where you have a particular scent going all the time because it just makes you feel good and it smells good. Maybe you have an aromatherapy candle that you are in the habit of lighting and having in particular rooms of your home. The idea is to bring in aromatherapy into a regular, routine practice of your day to create a calmer environment in your home. Now, this calmer environment can do a lot of things. If you feel calmer, you are not chasing your to-do list, you are not stressed about getting everything done, then you likely will choose to read and write more because you feel like you can. You feel like you have the white space. You feel like you are in the right headspace to sit down and enjoy something. We know that those kinds of scents can not only promote a calming environment, but they can help clear your head, which gives you the space and the bandwidth to focus while you are reading and writing, to enhance our comprehension and to just enjoy the experience more. So, this first recommendation is to just get started with essential oils and start to weave them into your daily routine in your home. I love my diffuser. It's a really simple, basic one. I think it was $15 on Amazon. And I basically almost every morning fill it up with water, drop in a couple of drops of whatever I want to smell. Or in my case, it's usually a default blend that I just really, really love. I turn it on high and I let it crank that scent throughout the house all day long. Now, you can choose the essential oils you want based on that kind of environment you want your home to have, right? There are things like rosemary boosts concentration. We know lavender supports relaxation. We know peppermint and citrus supports an uplifted mood, right? There are all sorts of benefits and what's the word I want? Signals, that aromatherapy can provide. Chamomile reduces stress. Clary sage promotes relaxation. Eucalyptus, as I know, clears your sinuses. Lavender can give you better sleep. Lemon can increase your happiness and improve your concentration. Peppermint boosts alertness, reduces headaches. I need that one. Rosemary increases focus. Sweet orange, one of my favorites, reduces anxiety. So you can choose a single scent to have piped through your home to get the most out of that smell, or you might choose a blend instead. Now, you can buy particular blends or you can make particular blends, right? For a winter recipe, right? Maybe you have peppermint and vanilla. Maybe you've got another blend that's rosemary and tea tree oil and black spruce, right? Maybe another one is cedarwood or wintergreen or pine. Depending on the season, depending on how you want your home to feel, you can choose those blends to help you bring that feeling to life. And so that's the first recommendation overall, is to just start getting aromatherapy into your home and into your routine so that you're setting up an environment that can support your mental health and your ability to say yes to that self-care and read and write. Now, the second way to use aromatherapy is as a signal. as a signal to your body that it is time to read and time to write. And so you can just fall right into that relaxation mode and signal to your parasympathetic nervous system that it's time to calm down a little bit faster. I talk about this in my Grow a Restorative Reading course. Our nervous systems benefit from consistency when there is a consistent signal that says it's time to do X. And so when we know we want to drop into a relaxed state, there are things we can do to send a message to our body to help us do that. Those signals could be lighting a candle to let your body know that this is my sacred time. It could be starting the bath and pouring the bath bubbles in and sitting at the edge of the tub and sending that message to your body that, yes, it is time to relax. There are all sorts of signals that can work for us depending on who each of us are. I know my morning page writing symbol is the coffee brewing. So with aromatherapy, we can create a pre-reading, a pre-writing ritual using aromatherapy to give us a double bang for our buck, to give us a signal to our nervous system and to get those chemical benefits from the scents that we are smelling. Now, what that signal looks like can be up to you. Maybe you light the diffuser when it's time to read and write. Maybe you light an aromatherapy candle when it's time to read and write. Maybe you get out the aromatherapy roller and you roll it on your palm or roll it on your pulse points. And that is your signal. Or maybe you even light some aromatherapy incense and that's your signal. I imagine that you have a signal that feels better than the other as you listen to me go through that list. And so I encourage you to pick one. I encourage you to pick a signal, a method, and then I encourage you to pick a scent. Now, the scent can be up to you, of course. It can be just a scent that you love and that you know puts you into that calm state. For me, I love smelling the wild orange. I love smelling lemon, and I really, really love, I don't know why, but I really love smelling spearmint. Just smells so good to me. I have a blend that I love. It is considered a mental health blend that I found online in my browsing. And I went to a local aromatherapy shop in my in my hometown, and she made it for me. And I love it. That is what I put on every morning in the diffuser. It's what I have in a roller as well. And it's just because I love the smell and it makes me feel really, really good. You could just do a single aromatherapy scent, and that could be your trigger. You could just open up the bottle and give it a quick sniff. That could be your signal. Maybe it's lemon oil. Maybe it's orange oil. Maybe it is eucalyptus, right? Those are our typical scents that are usually good for winter, which is why I'm mentioning them. But maybe it is lavender. Maybe it is cedarwood. Whatever scent calls to you, just go with it. You might go to a shop and smell a couple of different smells and say, hey, that one smells good for me. Or maybe you just take a chance on a blend that sounds good, smell unsmelled, and you just go for it. But I encourage you to think about how you could use aromatherapy as a signal in a pre-reading and pre-writing routine that can do two things: help your nervous system settle into that relaxed state and kick off the chemicals in your brain that you want to kick off. Now, the third thing I think is the most fun. We can use aromatherapy to set the stage for particular feelings and emotions while we are reading and writing, right? There's mood reading, there's mood writing, well, maybe there's mood aromatherapy. And so, based on the kind of reading and writing mood you want to cultivate, based on the different genres that you are reading, based on the different genres of writing you might be diving into, You can use different scents to literally transport you into that time, that place, that genre, that mood. So let's say you're reading this really uplifting, realistic fiction, or perhaps some self-help, personal transformation. So you might pair those uplifting genres with citrus smells that are energizing and get you really turned on in a way in terms of your brain. Now, maybe you are more reflective and you've got some poetry and you've got some short essays. You're more introspective. Maybe you go for the sandalwood to develop that feeling in scents around you. Maybe you're reading adventure novels, right? Whether it is set in a particular season or not, you could have some ocean scents and saltwater and seaweed scents for reading that summertime book, even though it is in the middle of the winter, or just using that scent to help you call and tap into that adventure. Right. So you can choose a scent based on your genre, based on your mood, to literally create an immersive reading experience for yourself. Now, you can do this with writing too. We know that certain scents can stimulate our creativity. It can help us reduce our writer's block or just get some emotional clarity so that we can see what shows up on the page. So maybe you try eucalyptus for not just clearing our sinuses, but clearing our mental fog too. Maybe you smell jasmine to spark inspiration and just see what comes up on the page. Whether you're reading or writing, you can choose a scent that helps you lock into the mood you are trying to cultivate in either side, reading or writing, and really settle into a more immersive experience. Now, side note, one thing I learned that some people do that I haven't done yet that I think perhaps I'll try is scent journaling. Scent journaling. That's where you're actually writing about how specific scents evoke emotion or memories for you, right? So write a memory that is tied to the smell of vanilla. Or think about a time in your childhood where the smell of pine brought you joy. There are actual journal prompts and ways of writing in this scent journaling that can help us access different parts of our brain and different memories and can really enhance a writing experience. So I haven't tried it yet. I think I will in the future. Stay tuned for how that goes. And if you've tried that, I would love to hear about it. So there you have it. 3 ways that we can use aromatherapy in our reading and writing lives. Number 1, relax overall and just get used to using aromatherapy in your home to promote an atmosphere of calm and self-care so that you choose to read and write. Number 2, send a signal to your nervous system as part of a pre-writing and pre-reading ritual that it is time to read and write right now and settle in. And number 3, set the stage for a particular immersive experience by pairing scents that match the genre and the mood you want to cultivate while reading and writing. Now, I have a couple of last tips to share before we sign off for today. One is important. If you are using a diffuser, if you are using a roller where you are putting the essential oils on your skin, I want you to make sure that the scents that you are choosing are safe for human consumption. I know. You're like, Stephanie, of course I'm going to choose oils that are safe for consumption. I thought I was too. I thought I was too. I was going to my local discount store, I will say, and getting the aromatherapy essential oils there, thinking everything was fine. And then I happened to read the box when I got home, and it actually said not safe for human consumption, not edible. You want those essential oils that are purely natural, that you could actually just put a drop on your tongue because they are plant-based compounds. We don't want to be enjoying a scent that was chemically made that is not going to be good for us. So that's my first warning and recommendation. Make sure the oils you choose are actually appropriate for human consumption. You also might try aromatherapy candles. If you don't want to try the diffuser, if you want something that's just easy to turn on, so to speak, light and unlight, then you can light a candle with a fragrance that matches what you would have had in an aromatherapy diffuser. Here's the third one though. What if you took your bookmark and you put just a drop of an essential oil on your bookmark, on a piece of ribbon, on a piece of fabric, and you used that as your bookmark? That means you are always going to have this subtle, lingering scent as you read. And so it doesn't matter where you are and if your diffuser is close by or not, your bookmark can be a source of aromatherapy and calmness and can be a wonderful addition to a reading routine. Now, if you love this idea of aromatherapy, then you might set up your reading nook with this in mind, right? Maybe you have a reading basket that travels with you. Maybe you have a section in your home where you always read. Make sure there's an aromatherapy candle there with a couple of natural matches. Make sure there's a small diffuser there with your favorite oil blend. Or just make sure you have that bookmark that you have already infused with oil so that you can make that part of your reading experience. So I hope that this brought you some happiness today. Thinking about how to layer on aromatherapy to our reading and writing experiences so that we can benefit from all of those research-based benefits that come from using those essential oils, but also just elevating our reading and writing experience so it feels good, it makes a difference in our lives, and it makes us want to do more. Now, I would love to know what scents inspire your reading and writing, or what scents do you think could inspire your reading and writing if this is new to you? I would love for you to find me. Tell me about your aromatherapy experiences and the scents that you think you would enjoy the most. You can find me at alitlife.com and find the show notes for this episode and comment there. You can head to social media. I'm at Affinito Lit on just about all of the platforms. And as always, you can click that audio button in your favorite podcast platform and send me a quick audio message letting me know what you think. So I hope that as we sign off, you will go head home, dig out those essential oils, or head to your local shop and buy one that you think would be perfect for you as a special treat to elevate your reading and writing. Thanks for listening, everyone. So glad to be back, and I will see you next week with another episode. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Get Literate podcast. You'll find links to all the books, resources, and ideas mentioned in the show notes and at alitlife.com. And if you want more, you might like to join my Patreon community. There, you'll find additional inspiration for your reading and writing life, like bonus podcast episodes, book calendars, monthly book clubs, notebooking inspiration, live events, giveaways, and more. It's only $5 a month, and you get instant access to all of the previous content too. Learn more at getliterate.co. And one more thing. If you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a friend. This helps the podcast grow and it builds our bookish and notebookish community too. Thanks for listening.